Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So, this is a different kind of video. I have got not a scratch of makeup on my face. I have literally just cleaned my face and that is it, and that hair is really annoying me. But yeah, this is a very different video. This is gonna be the beginning of my how-to series, and it's basically gonna be the name of it. It's gonna be a how-to. I'm gonna kind of break down the face, if that makes sense. So it's not gonna be like a how-to tutorial of like a green smoky eye. Those I do anyway, those are what my tutorials are, but these are like the basics. So if you specifically want to see like how to do a wing liner, because I do that in videos, I don't always show it, you can literally go and see, oh, how I do a wing liner, or like how I do a wing liner for my shape and different types of liner. So I'm going to kind of go through it kind of as a makeup artist, because that's what I am. I do have a lot of knowledge in this. I have a lot of years of experience. It's 2020 now. I'm qualified 9 years, so, and working in it 7 if you include my freelance prior to other work that I've done. So like counter work and brand work and things like that. So yeah, I do have a good bit of experience to go along with what I'm talking about, so I'm not just talking a lot of crap, and also years of just watching videos and picking up tips and tricks along the way. And that's kind of what this is. It's just a tips and tricks kind of video and just general knowledge on what the products are. So today we're starting with skin, and the first 4 videos are going to be like the foundation videos. So these can be taken and mixed and matched and all these kind of things. Today we're starting with natural skin. I'm going to be doing a dewy, I'm going to be doing a matte, and I'm also going to be doing a full coverage. Now you can do a full coverage dewy, you can do a full coverage matte, you can do a matte natural, dewy natural. You can do a dewy one that's for oily skin, so you'll be doing it in a matte way, but it will look dewy on the skin. So it's kind of take each one separately, but you can take elements of each one differently. So that's up to you. I'll also be doing like blushes and bronzes and highlighters and brows, and I'll be going through different products you can use. Now, not necessarily in this video. I do go through some general ideas, but when I go through actual like, you know, powders, I'm going to be going through specific like types of powder that you can use for different things, but that's a separate video. So all those things will be all taken care of in different ones. In this one, I'm kind of mostly focusing on the foundation, so I'm going to show you like 2 or 3 different types of foundation that you can use to create this kind of skin. I might even like lower the brightness on my camera so you can see the texture of the skin and everything. But let me get on to what we're actually talking about today. These could be rambly videos, just letting you know. For this video, what we're kind of going through is natural skin. So skin that looks like skin that might still look like it's got makeup on, but not a huge amount of makeup. Your everyday skin, the everyday wearer's skin is basically what it is. So it's skin you'll still be able to see freckles. You might even still be able to see blemishes, and I've got a nice little few blemishes that I'll show you how to cover, but you might still see them. And I mean, that's skin, so that's fine. It's not a big deal. If you want to fully cover everything, that's your full coverage video. So that's what that's for. You can also do natural skin that's full coverage. So you could do a natural skin and have full coverage elements of it. So take in the full coverage of the concealers and the powders and everything and add it to this video. So these are all mix and match kind of videos. These are what you put together and you can weave them together whatever way you want to do it. That's the idea of these things, because that's how, as makeup artists, that's what we do. So we will take someone who has an oily skin but wants a really dewy, wet look skin, but they need it to last all day. They like a full coverage, or they like a natural coverage, but they're having a breakout. So you're kind of mixing them all together, and you literally have to work it with, you have to know your products, you have to know all these kind of things. It depends on you and your face. That's it. So I'll tell you about my skin. My skin is, and I might do a skincare video as well, we'll see, like a daytime, nighttime routine maybe. But I do chop and change products, so it's not dedicated to certain products, unless there is specific products that I do use. But my skin is, when I was a teenager, I was very, very dry. I kind of work with it more, and I'm more just dehydrated, so now I don't get dry patches, but I can feel it now that I've no moisturizer, no like hydrating spray and anything like that, serum. It's tight, I can feel it, and I don't like that it's icky. I don't like that feeling. So I do get quite tight, particularly around here. I actually get tight around here, and on my forehead quite a bit, and around here as well I get a little bit tight. Not necessarily dry, unless I really don't look after my skin. I will get dry patches, that will happen, but I have to look after it. But I still get tight. Even if I look after my skin will still get tight if I've just freshly washed it. So in that case, I use quite rich moisturizers, quite rich serums. I use hydrating sprays, anything moisture. I don't like anything that absorbs quickly into my skin, because then I feel like it's done nothing to my skin. Now say your skin could be oily, you're going to change certain things about your skin compared to my skin. So I'm going to go by my skin. I'm going to try to help you with your skin, if that makes sense. So I'm going to give you, say, primers that will work to do this skin for an oily skin, for more textured skin, that kind of thing. So we'll make it work. You can go along with it as you please. If you do have any questions, leave them down below. I'll try to answer them as best I can, without actually going on too much. But yeah, this is my job, so I do kind of know what I'm talking about a little bit. I don't know everything. I can't know everything, but I have a general idea as to what I'm talking about. So we're gonna go along with it. Hello, phone. Thank you for interrupting me. We're going to go on with that. We're going to see how we get on, and I'm going to start with my skin prep. So actually, I'm already not used to doing this type of video. So before I get on with my skin prep, I just want to go through, I have 3 items picked out for foundation or for the base of the skin. I got glitter like all over me and I don't even know where it's from. Like literally, I haven't used glitter at all today. So I have 3 foundations, one of which I will be using, and it's my favorite one for this kind of look. But these are ones you can use as well. So the first one that I have is the Face and Body Foundation. This is my favorite one to use, one of my favorite foundations of all time. You will find I do use a good bit of MAC because it's something that I do build up a lot, and I have a lot over the years. But this is the MAC Face and Body Foundation. I use the shade N1. I do mix it with white. I'm not going to now because, I mean, I don't really mind. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be filming a look after I do my skin, and that's kind of it. And then I'm having a bath. So I'm just going to pop this on as is, and it's okay. It's just a bit warm for me. It's 70% water, so it's very hydrating. That's why I love it for my skin. Nice dewy finish, but oily skin can wear it once you prep your skin accordingly prior. So you don't use anything. You use your nice mattifying primers or oil controlling primers and good setting powder. But you do get a nice dewy finish off this. So I love this one. Quite sheer. It's one of the sheerest foundations out there. You can use a brush. Wouldn't use a sponge because you will absorb a lot of product with it. But you can use a brush. I quite like stippling brushes, those kinds of ones, they're nice. But I actually use my fingers, and that's what I'm going to do for today's video. Now, another option I like is a BB cream. I haven't actually used this BB cream yet. This is just a BB cream I have in my drawer, so I just wanted to show you something. This is the Kiko Green Me Hydrating BB cream. Hello, phone again. Thank you. And I just have the shade Porcelain. This one I haven't actually busted into, so I don't know. But your BB creams will be like your tinted moisturizers. Your BB cream will be heavier than this though. Your BB creams will also be heavier than your tinted moisturizer. So that's the main difference between them. Tinted moisturizers is literally like a moisturizer that has a tint. This is basically like kind of almost like a tinted moisturizer kind of texture as well, but it's more of a foundation, and you'll see what I mean when I put it on. This guy here usually has an SPF in it. So that's always great. This has got an SPF of something. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. They usually do. So they'll have a sheer medium coverage or sheer buildable coverage. They will have more natural finish, so maybe not as shiny. They look more like skin. They will have a bit more coverage in them, so you might get more coverage out of this. It's just how you apply it and what other products you use with it. How much concealer you use, what kind of powder you use. Those kinds of things. So BB creams are great, quite quick, quite easy. I would again apply with my fingers. That's just me. I know not everyone likes applying their makeup with their fingers. I do for certain things. Not everything, but certain things. Alright, so next up we have got the Inglot Beautifier, I can't say that word, oh my god. Beautifier Tinted Cream. This is a tinted moisturizer, but kind of not a tinted moisturizer in my world. I use the shade 101. It's a gorgeous product though. Again, I do use my fingers with this, but I have used a brush with this, which is quite nice. Any kind of, again, stippling brush, little buffing brushes, those kinds of things. Nothing too dense. I tend not to use sponges that often unless I'm using a very heavy coverage or quite a matte finish foundation. But yeah, anything like that, like the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush is perfect, fine, works grand with this. This is like a sheer to medium coverage. It's quite velvety on the skin. It does have more coverage than say your BB cream will, but you do still get a very natural skin. Like, look, you just get a bit more coverage out of it. So there are your different levels you can go out with this kind of skin. I'm gonna go like low level and show you what you can do to build up to it. It's all up to you. It's how your skin is. A lot of people feel like they need a full coverage if they have a little bit of breakout down here. You do not need that. It's a preference thing. I get it a lot when I'm in work And I have people come to me and they're like, oh, I need a full coverage because I've got one spot here. You're like, no, you need a concealer there and the rest be fine. Just build the coverage where you need it. Then you have a natural overall covered where you need it, as opposed to being full coverage where you don't even need it, and it's just built up product and it doesn't always look great. Not in real life anyway. I do have a little bit, it's not a breakout, I have spots and I pick at them and it's my fault, and I've got one or two up here that are kind of going away, but I've got like fresh ones down here, quite red ones, so I'm going to show you guys how to cover them. So let's get on with the actual application. So I'm starting off with just a little bit of hand sanitizer because I am going to use my fingers for a lot of these things. So for me now, the first thing I'm going to do, because I haven't really prepped my skin yet, I've just cleaned it and that's kind of it. I'm going to go with my MAC Fix Plus spray just to hydrate my skin. Oh god, that feels amazing. And a lot of it for me because I like a lot of it, and I've been sitting here for about, god, 20 minutes with nothing on my skin, and I thought I was going to die there for a second. So I feel better now. So loads of that. You can do 2 layers if you want to. Again, depends on your skin. It will give a bit of a dewy, hydrated effect to the skin, but I quite like that for this kind of natural look. That it looks hydrated, even if you're oily. Hydration, you need a bit of hydration. So for that, I'm also going to use that at the very end to spray the face as well. Now for moisturizer, any moisturizer, it's up to your skin. That's all you need to pick that yourself. So you need to start trial and error, and it is trial and error, trust me. And sometimes they stop working for you and you restart again. It's a process. You'll never find the right one. You will, and then you won't, basically. So for me, I'm going to use the Embryolisse La Crème Concentrée. Never done French in my life. And this is it's a moisturizer, makeup primer, moisturizing mask. I just tend to use as moisturizer because I am going to use a primer as well. It's a really nice, good, rich moisturizer for me. Great under makeup. It's lovely. I'm going to use this. It's €25 for like a tube this size. I mean, that's not massively expensive in my world, but it could be for some people. So that's what I'm going to pop on right now. Okay, so that'll soak in while I'm going through this bit. And I also don't leave my moisturizer to soak in too much. So some people, I get it a lot as well. People ask, oh, how long will I leave that to set in? And I'm like, no time. Get your foundation out. That's plenty of time. That's kind of the way I work with it, because I like the tackiness, like the little bit of you can kind of feel it on the skin. You know what I mean? So we're going to go in with our face and body, but before that, I'm going to go through a couple of primers really quickly. Nothing too fussy. So say if you have oily skin, I would go with the MAC Skin Base or anything of that form. So say anything mattifying, anything oil controlling, anything like that kind of thing. This has got like a blurring kind of effect to it as well. It's a little bit more matte. I do use this if I'm using, say, really, really dewy foundations, just to help give it something to balance it a little bit. But I actually can wear this once I moisturize accordingly, but I'm not going to use that today because that's not what I want to use, because that's not for my skin technically. So next up, if you've got texture in your skin, I love this foundation, especially for like pores around here. My pores aren't massive, but I mean, if I can blur them, I will. And this is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Primer. It's not super matte, I would say. I love this. Really, really, really like this primer. It's a really nice primer. It does feel very like moussey on the skin, which is really nice. So that'll help if you feel like you've got texture but you want to do natural skin, or you feel like you've got pores and you feel like you have to go in with a lot of coverage to cover those. You don't get something like that, or even a pore filling stick. MAC do one of those. Catrice did one as well. It's a little stick you just literally draw it on. Works great as well. And then the one I am going to use is MAC, and it is the Natural Radiance Primer. So this will oil control, so it'll stop you from getting shiny, it'll stop your makeup from melting, it grips it to your skin, but it's hydrating as well, and it gives a really nice moisturized feel to the skin. So that's what I'm going to use now, and I tend to do like a pump and a half, like not much. We're just going to pop that all over. Some people don't even use primer. I mean, it's all up to you. Depends how much time you have as well. Like realistically, your skin, you should be able to do skin properly in like 10 minutes. Shouldn't take too long. No, that's properly. I know some people literally just like whack foundation on and off they go. I'm talking about like your primer, your foundation, concealer and powder. And probably your blush and bronzer, depending how quick you are. I would probably take about 15 minutes to do all of that. And then however long to do my eyes, whatever I decide to do. Okay, so while that's setting in, what I'm going to do is take my Face and Body foundation. Now you can pop it on your hand and do it section by section, whatever. That's not how I do it. I do it the makeup artist way. The quick way. So get a blob on your fingers. About that much is what I'm using. Apply it like this, and we're literally gonna throw it on like a moisturizer. So quick, so easy. This is what I do when I'm going on holidays. This is the only foundation I bring on holidays with me because it's so light. And just get it on there. And I find when you use your fingers, one, it'll heat up and go into your skin a little bit easier. So that makes it look more natural straight away because it's like merging with your skin. And two, pat away your edges down here though. That's a big important part. Two, by using your fingers, it keeps the coverage on the skin. So there is some coverage in it and you can build it up. You will feel it get a little bit tacky as you're blending it in. Like it kind of becomes a little bit more difficult to move around, and that's it just becoming a bit more tacky. And it's sticking to your skin a bit better. So you will get coverage that way as well. And you can layer. You could do about 10 layers of this and it won't look heavy. So it's great. It's one of my favourites for a reason. And it's a makeup artist favourite for a reason as well. Okay, so ignore the fact that like my skin is probably, or my face is probably a little bit warmer than my neck. That's just the colour and whatever. When I put the other bits on, it won't look as obvious. But you can see, all my freckles. You can even still see my breakouts. All here. That's all fine. I could go in with another layer if I really want to, but I'm not going to for this video. But all around here, you can still see all my freckles, but you can't actually see. You can see the colour, obviously, but you can't see the actual foundation. You can't actually see product on the skin, if that makes sense. That's the goal we're going for. Now, moving on, I'm going to go in with some concealer, and I'm using two different types of concealer. One is my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. Love this for my eyes and for blemishes as well. But it's not the most coverage of a concealer. The most coverage of a concealer are these types. So this is just my MAC Studio Conceal and Correct palette. By the way, I'll go through this in a video. As an individual person, you don't always need a palette of concealers, and you don't need a palette of contours and highlights. Trust me, I will go through all that though. Reasons why, but that's just a little heads up for that one. But this has a few different shades for me, so I'm going to kind of mix around and do my thing with this, but this is a heavier coverage. So this guy I prefer under my eyes. I don't like this under my eyes because it's too thick, and my under eyes are more dehydrated. Thinner skin doesn't take that well to it. This guy here is easier, it's more fluid, it's a little bit more moisturizing, but there's still a good medium to full coverage in it. So that's what we're going to use under the eyes. And then this guy is going to be for blemishes. And for my under eyes, I actually use my fingers. It's the only thing I find works for my under eyes. I find sponges absorb too much product. Brushes actually don't get the product stuck to the skin easiest. And I've just found my fingers are just the easiest way. So I just dot a little bit and go in. Now this is lighter than the foundation, which I mean most people tend to go for. Not everyone does. You can match your foundation and bang on if you want to. I only go a shade or two lighter than my skin. I don't go white under my eyes. I mean, I am as white as you can be. There is nothing except for pure white. But I'm just going in with that under my eyes. Again, I'm going to go through all this more in depth in my next video. Well, not my next video, but my concealer video. Also, I'm not bringing my concealer like all the way down here because I don't want to cover all of this. I'm literally just going in that little semicircle along here. Obviously, you want to blend your edges. I mean, you don't want it just to be a line. You still want your edges to be blended, but I'm not bringing a big V of concealer all the way down. I'm just applying it where I'm the darkest. Okay, so that's my under eyes done. Now, I mean, realistically, if I was getting ready in the morning, I'd just use that on the rest of my face as well. That's all well and good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spot conceal. So spot concealing is literally, it's not concealing areas that don't need it. So for this palette, I'm going to go in with NC15, which is, which one are you? This one here. Because it's more yellow toned, and again, I'm going to go more in depth with this, especially with this palette in my concealer video. But the yellow tones will knock out the red, which is what most spots are. And you know, if you get red around here, a little bit red here, you want to cover it. Take the tiniest little bit. I'm using a Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. I love this for concealer. It's great. And you're literally just gonna like stamp it on. Now this concealer should match your foundation. This one can be lighter. This one needs to match. Because if it's too light, and this is what I say to people, that if you want to go light under your eyes, you have to get another concealer for your skin. Because you'll end up just highlighting the blemishes, which we don't want. So we're just going in around the nose, because I do get a little bit red here. But like, I'm not going anywhere here. Like, you can see marks from when I had spots like a couple of years ago. But that doesn't bother me. Do you know what I mean? It's not something that bothers me. Okay, you'll also notice I didn't do any foundation or concealer on my eyelids. I don't, because I'm going to put eyeshadow on that. So, I mean, I'm not covering it to then put colour back onto it. No point in that. But that is essentially the coverage of your skin. So let me zoom in again so you can see. So like, you can still see the blemishes. They're just not as obvious. They're not as distracting on the skin. The camera is lighter or darker, by the way, just so you can actually see the textures on the skin, because sometimes the light can wash it out. But yeah, like, you can see parts of my skin. This is a realistic skin with makeup on. Like, not a, you know, like, it's because I work and do people's makeup, and they give me pictures of these filtered images, and they're like, I want to look like that, and I'm like, okay, but like, you don't look like that. It's not realistic. So you need to be realistic about your own face. Think about your own face. Look at your own face and be like, what can I do with this face? And this is what I can do with mine. You know what I mean? So that's the way you have to look at it for your own face. Makeup artists can do different things on your face, but like, for your own face, that's what you want to be doing. Now, powder. So I'm going to go sheer. You can go full coverage powder, like Studio Fix Powder Plus. That'll add coverage to your face, but then it defeats the purpose of not seeing freckles. So it depends on how you want to work it. So I'm going to go, you can use something like the Studio Fix Perfecting Powder. That's a sheer coverage, has a tiny bit of coverage to it. Like, it's what people would say translucent. That's not translucent, because it has colour and a little bit of coverage to it. I'll go into that in the powder video, but that's an option. Sheer, you always want sheer. What I'm going to do is go with my Makeup Forever HD foundation or HD powder. It's just translucent. This is actually translucent. No colour, no coverage, just a powder, just to set it, and that's all we're doing. So there's a little like sifter and all that kind of stuff. You're not going to look white with this, by the way. I'm not picking it because it's white and I'm super pale. That's not why. It's translucent. There's no colour of it. I'm going to take a Real Techniques blush brush. This is like a giant big brush. I love this for powder, because I know that this will not apply too much. Tapping a little bit off. And we're just going to literally like dust it. Sometimes when you put your powder on over your concealer, it can not take it off. I mean, sometimes that can happen. That is an issue sometimes. But what I find, it kind of deepens, and then you can kind of see the blemishes slightly, just slightly. Nothing too distracting. I mean, this is literally, I would just take whatever's left on the brush and just bounce on it. But I mean, realistically, I wouldn't, because I don't care that much. If I'm doing a natural skin, I want it to look like my skin. And this is how my skin looks, so that's the way I'm going with it. Okay, so two little things that I do want to mention to you. One is I don't set my under eye concealer. That's my preference. It's up to you. I find it more brightening when I don't, and I find it still lasts the same amount of time. That's me. I'll get more into that in the concealer video. And second thing is, even though I've got dehydrated skin and semi-dry skin, I do set my whole face because I want it all to last, except my under eyes. But I do set everywhere. Now, you can literally just do your T-zone if you're a bit oily. You can just do your cheeks if they get a bit oily. You can not set it if you're very dry. That's like, this is what I mean. It's all, think about it. Try it one day and it doesn't work. Try it the next day with it. You know? But what I do is I set it all. Do like whatever I need to do. And I don't leave it to bake or anything like that. But I go back in with my Fix Plus. Or I tend to use my, what's it called? The Urban Decay Cooling and Hydrating Spray. I quite like that as well, because that also really grips your makeup in. Or the All Nighter. I'll use that as well. I use most setting sprays, but this one I like because it's hydrating. So sometimes I'll do a setting spray and then spray this after to hydrate more, you know. But what I'm going to do is do this now and just give it a good spritz. And what that'll do is it'll absorb some of the powder, not absorb it, but like kind of merge the powder with the foundation, so it's not just sitting on the skin. It doesn't just look like powder on skin. Now, I have drenched myself, so yeah, let me just give that a little fan. But basically, that is it. That is your natural skin. It's, I mean, I have rambled a lot. It did take a while. But when you're just doing it yourself and you know your little routine you're going through, you're just, when I do this, I'm like, done. you know, and it would literally take, just to do this much of my face would take probably 7 minutes, give or take, depending how my skin is. If my skin's pretty bad, it might take a bit longer. But yeah, like this, and I'm still quite wet. But it just gives you this dewy effect at the end, so it makes the skin look more like hydrated skin rather than makeup on the skin and powder on the skin. So I always tend to do that right at the end, and it just gives a little bit more hold to the face, I find. So yeah, that is the skin. So I'm going to stop here. This is where we're stopping. We are not doing bronzer, blusher, contour, highlight. We're not doing any of that. They're all their own videos. You will see them eventually. I'm going to try to go through these maybe once a month. Maybe. These are nice easy videos for me to do, although they might be longer than I would imagine them to be. Some of them might not be. Some of them might be literally like, the highlight video could be like that. But there's steps in this, so I had to go through each step. But these are ones I could do like before work, and while I'm doing my skin, I'll just explain what I'm doing with my skin. And then my brows, I'll just explain what I'm doing with my brows. So these are nice easy videos for me to do. So hopefully I can get one up a month, which would be quite nice. I will eventually have a playlist. Once I have a playlist, I will link it down below as I go along. I link different videos for you guys here and there. So if I'm doing a particular look where I do a weird looking liner, I'll link to my liner video. If I'm doing a look and it's all about, I'm like, oh, my skin is already on, I'll link to my skin videos. So you can just these are just for your own reference, for my own reference as well, just so that I know what I've been using, and if I need to update them I can. So that's all for me. So yeah, this is the natural skin, basically a demo. So a natural skin how-to video, tips and tricks, products to use. I hope it was helpful. I really do, because I made notes and everything, so I didn't go off tangent, even though I did. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below. If you have any questions, do shout them out to me. I want to know. I will try my hardest, one, to get back to you within a reasonable amount of time, because I do tend to forget, and also try to give you a good answer to your question if I can. Also hit subscribe down below to see more of these how-to videos, to see more tutorials, more weird videos. I do have a haul coming up soon, which I'm going to probably film tomorrow, and I'm finishing off my Disney Princess series, so stay tuned for that as well. And also hit like down below if you did like this video and want to see more of these how-to videos. My skin looks really nice now because it's all set into place. I like it. This is my favorite kind of skin. This is the skin I love. I love a skin. I can see the skin. I like seeing my freckles. Yeah, let me just zoom in one more time before I go. So can you see there now? It doesn't look powdery, doesn't look makeup-y, still looks like skin. You probably can still see, yeah, I can kind of see a little bit here. My forehead ones, this side's pretty covered. Covered okay. But you will see some things, you'll see other things. It just depends on your skin. But I prefer that than not looking like a face. You know what I mean? Not looking real. So this is, for me, a realistic skin, and it's my favorite kind of skin. And I don't do it all the time, but I do love it. And I'm probably going to wear this tomorrow. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye!